October 1992, a courthouse in Chicago. A lawyer sets a single sheet of paper on a clerk's counter and slides it forward. The name printed at the top is 97 years old. For most of those years, it was the most trusted name in American bicycles. This is the story of how Schwinn built an empire on two wheels, and then talked itself into the grave, one confident decision at a time. It begins in 1895. Ignaz Schwinn is a German-born machinist who learned his trade in the bicycle workshops of Europe. He arrives in Chicago in the middle of a full-blown craze. Everyone wants wheels. At the peak of the boom, 300 companies are building bicycles in the United States. 30 of them are in Chicago alone. Schwinn partners with a meatpacking businessman named Adolf Arnold. Arnold, Schwinn and Company opens its doors. Then the boom goes bust. Americans fall in love with the automobile. Within a decade, the bicycle market collapses, and those 300 manufacturers begin to vanish. Schwinn does the opposite of vanishing. He buys struggling competitors. He modernizes his factory. When the dust settles, Arnold, Schwinn and Company is one of the last men standing. It is the first lesson of the empire. Survive the winter, and you inherit the spring. The second act belongs to the founder's son. Frank W. Schwinn takes control in the early 1930s. In the depths of the Great Depression, when a bicycle is a luxury almost nobody can justify. His answer is audacious: make the bicycle irresistible again. In 1933, Schwinn introduces the balloon tire bicycle. Fat, cushioned tires on a frame built like a small motorcycle, streamlined and chromed like something out of a science fiction serial. Kids don't just want these bikes, they worship them. The balloon tire cruiser is credited with reviving the entire American bicycle industry, and it carries Schwinn's name on the front of the parade. Then comes the Golden Age. In 1949, Schwinn releases the Black Phantom. Chrome fenders, sprung fork, a built-in horn tank. It is the undisputed dream bike of post-war America. And Schwinn backs it with something just as powerful: a network of authorized dealers who sell and service Schwinns like franchises. A radical idea in the bicycle business. The dealer network does something subtler too. It makes Schwinn a family ritual. You don't order a Schwinn from a catalog. You walk into a shop that smells of rubber and chain oil. You get measured. The man behind the counter knows your father's name. The bikes are guaranteed for life, and the dealer services what he sells. Department stores undercut Schwinn on price. They try, endlessly. It doesn't matter. For 2 decades, the dealer network is a moat no discounter can cross. And in 1963, Schwinn catches lightning in a bottle. A company engineer named Al Fritz hears about a strange trend in California. Kids are customizing old frames with high-rise handlebars and long banana seats to mimic chopper motorcycles. Instead of ignoring it, Fritz builds it. The Schwinn Stingray is born, and it detonates. Stingrays and their imitators come to dominate American kids' bike sales through the 60s. By 1968, the Crate series has turned a children's bicycle into a status symbol. Then the great bike boom of the early 1970s hits. Americans buy bicycles by the tens of millions. For a brief, astonishing moment, adult bikes outsell cars. Schwinn stands at the summit. The name over the door seems eternal. Remember the Stingray, a trend from California kids that Schwinn almost missed, saved only because one engineer paid attention. Because the next 2 times it happened, nobody was paying attention. The first was BMX. In the early 1970s, Southern California kids are racing Stingrays on dirt tracks, jumping them, thrashing them, inventing bicycle motocross. It is a marketing gift from heaven. They are doing it on Schwinns. But Schwinn hesitates. The company worries about safety, about lawsuits. It drags its feet while upstarts like Mongoose and Redline build the purpose-made BMX bikes kids actually want. By the time Schwinn commits, the market belongs to someone else. The second miss is bigger. In the hills of Marin County, California, a group of long-haired riders is bombing down fire roads on rebuilt pre-war balloon tire bikes. Many of them are old Schwinns. They call them clunkers. They are inventing the mountain bike. Pioneers like Gary Fisher and Joe Breeze are, quite literally, building the future of cycling on Schwinn's own abandoned designs. Schwinn executives dismiss mountain biking as a passing fad. It becomes the biggest bicycle category in America. Schwinn has now invented the raw material for the two defining bike movements of the century and handed both to its competitors. While Schwinn says no to its own future, the competition says yes to everything. The bike boom opened America's doors to Japanese manufacturers building 10 speeds that are lighter, better equipped, and often cheaper than a Schwinn. The company's electro-forged frames are famously tough, but tough also means heavy, and the new riders want fast. Serious cyclists drift to imported brands. The kids drift to BMX makers. The trail riders are off inventing their own sport. Piece by piece, every growing segment of the market belongs to someone else, while Schwinn defends the shrinking middle. While the products age, so does everything else. The Chicago factory dates back to the early 1900s. By the late 70s, it is cramped, outdated, expensive. Then, in the autumn of 1980, Schwinn's Chicago workers walk out on strike. The strike lasts about 13 weeks, and management makes a decision that will echo for decades. Rather than modernize at home, Schwinn begins shifting production overseas to a then little-known Taiwanese manufacturer called Giant. To make the partnership work, Schwinn sends Giant its engineering, its quality standards, its manufacturing know-how, the accumulated secrets of 85 years. Giant learns fast. Soon, it is building the majority of Schwinn's bikes. And then, it does the obvious thing. It starts selling bikes under its own name. Schwinn has trained its own replacement. The Chicago plant, the heart of the empire, closes for good in 1983. By the late 1980s, Schwinn's market share has collapsed to a fraction of its former self. The company is drowning in debt, while the family's fourth generation fights to steer it. A new factory in Greenville, Mississippi, is plagued by quality problems and shuts down after roughly 10 years. Suppliers go unpaid. Banks grow nervous. The dealers, the famous moat, watch their once proud franchise turn into shelves of bikes that look more and more like everyone else's, but cost more. Which brings us back to that sheet of paper on the courthouse counter. In October 1992, Arnold, Schwinn and Company files for bankruptcy. The name is sold, moved to Colorado, relaunched with real ambition. It isn't enough. In 2001, Schwinn goes bankrupt a second time and is bought at auction by a company that specializes in mass-market bikes for big-box retailers. Schwinn was not killed by a better bicycle. It was killed by its own customers' imaginations. Kids on dirt tracks invented BMX on Schwinn's. Riders in Marin invented the mountain bike on Schwinn's. The future knocked twice, riding the company's own products. And both times, Schwinn said no. The bicycle that once had a waiting list at your local dealer becomes a label on a rack at Walmart. The name still sells today, stamped on bikes built by factories that never saw Chicago. Walk into a courthouse records room and you can still find the filing. 97 years, reduced to a single sheet of paper on a counter. The clerk stamps it. Somewhere, a dealer's lifetime guarantee is still pinned to a workshop wall.